Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 10-Minute Product Podcast, where we serve you 10 minutes of brain juice with concise and to-the-point advice on how to resolve particular challenges faced by product leaders. My name is Christian Micho. I'm a longtime product leader. Amongst other things, I've been at Google and Shazam. And my co-host is Jonas Wang, himself a former Googler and a leader of large product organizations over the years. And today's challenge that we're going to talk about is AI ML in large organizations and why it often fails to deliver the expectations.
That's right, Christian. As a large organization looking to introduce AI and ML into their way of doing product development, most often you see those projects fail initially. Generally, it's because large organizations want too much to achieve too much with too little. And generally it's because we're overcomplicating the use of AI and ML. Through our conversations, we've discussed what is it really. AI ML is another tool in your toolbox. It doesn't change your range or your initial range of use cases that you're looking into as a product leader, but it gives you an extra means to resolve those use cases. So looking to introduce AI and ML in large organizations, it makes sense to split your use cases into two segments. We coined them as working bees use cases and helpers use cases. So working bees use cases are use cases that are where AI can support by taking over on repetitive user actions, so automating workflows. This with an aim to reduce the time it takes for a user to complete a task, so automation. Helpers are AI solutions where AI is supporting you by providing relevant guidance when you need to make a decision, so decision support. And looking across and splitting up your set of use cases like that, the working bee use cases, so automation, taking over on repetitive tasks, are usually more straightforward to implement and are more clear cut, which will in turn will enable you to unlock value faster than helper use cases. So we do recommend, looking across your use cases, that you start with the B use cases, so repetitive tasks. Also start simple, don't overcomplicate things. Try to start with a simple use case. Try to define a simple solution and get going. Test and ensure that it works, and then you can work on scaling it across a user base or an application space. Try to de-scope what you want to achieve with AI and ML initially. Learn how to use it, see it work, unlock value from it, and then move on from there.
Awesome. I really like your split into two different types of activities. And I have to agree, it's better to start simple and it's better to start with the easier tasks to be repeated. And so this brings me to another topic, which is in big organizations, one of the effects AI and ML has on people is that there's a certain amount of magic thinking, because you read a lot of stuff in the press. You read about you see amazing pictures being generated. And so there's a lot of magic thinking. So as a product lead, one of the most important things to do in a big organization is to set expectations, or you set yourself up to fail. Setting the expectations means you have to dispel some of the magic bullet thinking. You have to assess the risk of your activities. And by that, I mean, if you do blue sky model training, for example, uncertain outcomes on this one. So can you do just blue model thinking, blue sky model training? Probably not, because if you do just that, you can fail in every single one of them. You could, mathematically speaking. If you have advanced analytics, for example, as a avenue for some of the projects you're doing, it's much better, because you can predict the results of some of these projects, so you can have a balanced portfolio. And this is something I've done in the past to explain to the board and to the executive, to say, look, I have 50% of projects that are very risky, 50% of projects that are more predictable, And that seemed to work very well for the executive and the board in terms of predicting the risk and knowing where they invest where they invest their money. This brings me to the other aspect is you need to think specifics for your audience. So you have your fellow executives, you have your team, you have your CEO, you have the board, you have advisors. Everybody is a different type of person with different goals and with a different angle on how they come to things. And you need to think about what is it that they want to know about AI projects. The board will think about ROI, for example, and risk levels. What are we investing? What are we getting back? Your CEO is thinking about the trajectory of the company, etc., etc. So this is super important. I would say the other thing is, again, on this topic, translate your AI and ML aspects of the work into clear business messages. This is not only good for your goal setting as a product lead, but it's also great for explaining to the company what you're doing and bringing back AI into a model that everybody understands. And lastly, I would mention use visual techniques. This is one of those things where AI and ML is very mathematical, and it's quite difficult for everybody to grasp these concepts. If you use visual techniques to simplify all the complicated dimensions, it helps enormously to get people's buy-in on meetings, on projects, updates, milestones, everything else. So this is really really interesting. And so to move on quickly to another aspect of AI and ML, I think it's very important to look at the tactical development. And this means that in everyday development, there are certain rules that I've experienced that work really well. Plan short iterations and achievable results. It helps everyone. It will help you track progress, set milestones, but it will also help you to show the progress to the rest of organizations, to take corrective actions if things are delayed or don't work out the way you want. And even if you do fundamental work for research, set milestones, communicate with the organization. It's really helpful. And the second aspect would be to integrate the teams. So think dynamic co-location per project, bring people together, bring the data science, machine learning people, AI teams together with the backend team and the front-end design team. They will produce much better results if they work together. What's your experience on this?
It's very much along the lines that you're describing there, Christian. The use of AI, the outcome is less clear. So your recommendation around breaking down the milestones, have a way of always looking up and see where you're at according to where you believe you should go, and do corrective action if you have to. Secondly, bring on board your stakeholders and the team. Given it's a less clear outcome from AI projects, so it requires a bit more hands-on product leadership than you would otherwise do in something that both you, your team, and your stakeholders are more familiar with, more well-known technologies and potential use cases. So you need to be more on top of it, generally as a product leader. To sum up, AI is exciting. It's got so much potential in terms of, for us as software professionals, to work with an exciting new technology that brings forward a completely new set of opportunities in terms of how we resolve user problems. It's all exciting, but to get going, we need to bring down the excitement. First, make it simple. In particular, if you work in large, complex organizations, start with simple use cases with clear outcomes. Secondly, try to bring your stakeholder groups, your team on board on the journey. Make it in the way you communicate AI and how potentially that can bring forward and unlock value for you as an organization. Bring them on board. Try to spell it out. Try to demystify it. It's not a magic wand. And then thirdly, as you say, Christian, outcomes are less clear as you work with AI technologies and use it in your product development. You need to very likely have more course correction. You need to be more on top of it as product leader, support your team, keep the stakeholders informed around any changes you make in that regard, because it's all a journey, right? We're just at the start of the AI evolution. I won't call it a revolution, and as such, it requires some handholding here to start with.
Cool. I would go as far as call it a revolution, but the jury's out. We'll see. Thank you very much.
On that, keep the comments coming. I believe we received some great user feedback. Follow our channel, give us a like, leave us a comment, and tap that subscribe button.